Alright, you guys can hear me? There seems to be a big lag here between the preview and the stream. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Yeah, there seems to be a big lag here on this end. Anyway. Hey guys, welcome to my first stream on YouTube. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I go about stemming a project file from scratch. So here I've got a project on which I've been working for the past few weeks, and now it has finally reached a point where I can render these patterns and audio clips into stems. So I've got this request many times in the past, so I wanted to make a video on this to show you guys exactly how I go about stemming your project files in FL Studio, because there are times when we do collaborations with people in other DAWs, and then they might not have access to opening FLPs. So in that case we use stem files to do the sharing of projects. So I wanted to make the video in the past, but the thing is there's just so many things which I do when I'm working on stemming, and they all sort of like add up. So that's the reason why I chose a live streaming this time. So without further ado, let's begin the stream. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play through the track once so you guys get an idea of what the track sounds like, and then we can begin the process of stemming the entire project. So I'll just open this up, add a new arrangement, call it render. See, the thing is, I have already rendered this file, and yeah man, I know the internet sucks. Fyra knows what I'm talking about. Hey man, how's it going? Wait, I'm just gonna look for the render because the project's gonna glitch a lot. Where the hell did I save this? Go to projects, go to alright, and then track 7 renders. Alright, drop it here. Oh man. Alright, there it is. So I'm just going to disable the master effects so that it doesn't get like compressed again and again. I've used Maximus here to do some kind of compression, and yeah, I'm gonna disable it here. Yeah, let's begin the playthrough. Oh crap, I think I have to disable the Dell audio. I don't know why these guys have this weird speaker enhancement, like who the hell even uses this? Okay, let's begin. Alright, so this is the track which we are going to stem out today. So I'm going to take you guys to the arrangement. Let me just check the chat once real quick. What are you guys saying? Tomorrowland. Hell yeah, we're coming there. Yeah, I do other genres as well. Like this is just one experiment which I was doing where I was trying to combine hardstyle with Psy Trance, you know, progressive Psy Trance to be exact. But the thing is, I have made like individual hardstyle and Psy Trance tracks in the past. So, and I have found out that it's pretty hard to actually mix these two genres, you know, because hardstyle is all about the kick and, you know, just the pumping of the kick, but Psytrance is more about the flow of energies. So this is just my experiment to, you know, sort of unite these two worlds into one. So far I feel, you know, it's been good, so let's see how this turns out. Alright, so where is the arrangement? Yeah, final arrangement. So this is what we're gonna do. If you can see here, I have like sort of made small groups here. Like this first group here is for kicks. The first track in that is the Psy kick which I've used, that is this one. And then there are other elements here, like there's this hardstyle kick sort of on top of this. What I'm going to do is just group it like this, and then I'm going to like render this entire thing into one like stem file. So whenever I send it to anyone for a collaboration or even a mix engineer, he would be able to sort of just adjust the levels and not worry about you know, clashing elements and stuff like that. Alright, so let's begin. So usually what I do is I select all the automations in the beginning, because now I'm done with the arrangement of the track and I'm no longer working on changing small details here and there. So I would just select the first wait, am I even in the right screen? Right. So first I would just select the automation here in the picker panel, the first one, and come down here and hit shift on the keyboard and select all of them. Right click here and go to select in playlist. This would select all the automation whichever I have used. My god, look at this project, 256 freaking tracks, what the hell. Alright, okay, need to increase the volume. Can you guys hear me? Just a sec. Okay, how about now? Right, but you guys were able to hear the track in the full volume, right? Because then, all right, cool, fine. Let's begin with the stemming process now. So now I have selected all of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just hit shift and the down arrow till all the automation comes down, and all I'm left with are the patterns and the samples which I have used while working on this project. So I remember that the last track that used any element was 256. So anything past that is going to be just automation. So my god, that's so much automation. It's very chaotic as well at the same time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of this like this. And okay, no, never mind. I'll just do a small arrangement here. Let's move these up, move these up. No overlapping. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the automations are on top of each other, because by the end all that matters is, oh yeah, there are a lot of samples here for sure. So by the end what really matters is that all the automations are within a small group of tracks, which I can just make like solo like this and lock it, so that whenever I am working with stems and I solo any stem, the automation is locked and it's not getting like muted by other tracks. This kind of thing works really well in FL 12.5 because you don't have this option of consolidating playlist selection like we do in FL 20. So this tutorial will help you guys as well. And I think up to some extent even the older versions like FL 11 users can use this, like make these automations like this and lock them, because in that, even though it's not very straightforward, you know, like the stemming procedure in that, what you have to do is go here in the mixer and you have to like arm each mixer slot, and then you go to disk recording, and then you have to render to wave files. But thankfully with the latest updates you don't need to do all that. So I'm going to just make these all come together. One thing I really appreciate about this new update is how they have just shown here clearly like which one is being used, which track is not being used. Earlier we had to sort of like eyeball it, so which was always you know, much more difficult. My god, this is a mess. Holy shit. See, this is exactly why I didn't want to create a video, because I could create a small video where I would show you like how to do the stemming, but you won't be able to see the small things which I do, you know, like when I face issues like this. So now there'll be at least one video where you guys can see the entire process of how I go about it, and maybe in the future I'll make one more video where it'll be concise and you can see what all I'm doing if you're in a hurry. Okay, let me just also one more thing guys, this might seem like a lot of work right now, but it all pays eventually when you get to the stemming, because then you don't have to worry about the automation anymore. Okay, move these all up here. I hope YouTube does not demonetize this for profanity. By the way, have you guys heard about this new adpocalypse that's been going on? Like, apparently someone on YouTube. Wait, what the hell just happened? Right. So apparently someone on YouTube just did some bitching about how the like commenters comment like weird shit, and because of which advertisers such as McDonald's and like there was one more just left the marketplace, and that has been showing in the ad revenue. Yeah, I have updated my FL version. Now I'm using FL 20. Wait, let me show you. If I go here to about, I'm using FL 20.1.0. This is build 785. I could update it to the newer version, but the thing is, I'm collaborating with a few people who don't have that update. So, like, now I'm forced to use the older version. So, it's weird, but I guess producers would understand. And not only this, if you look here, I even got like FL 12.5 here because I have some projects with people who are used to FL 12. And then there is one more. Oh my god. By the way, yeah, this is my desktop. Wait. Yeah, I even have like FL 11 for people who are used to FL 11. But I think FL 20 does everything that FL 11 was capable of, and now, like, especially with the what do you call the step sequencer, they re-added the entire, like, what's this called? The graph editor. Yeah, almost forgot what it's called. Oh my god, this is taking a long time. Alright, how many do we have? How many do we have? Okay. If I can just bring them all together close, then maybe it'll... Yeah, I think I should do that. It's not like I'm going to work on this. That reminds me, I should save this in a new version. Alright, someone's at the door. Oh no, that's the milkman. Right. By the way, I hope you guys are getting a constant stream now. Like, I hope my audio is not getting chopped up or, you know, dropping frames or something. Cause, yeah, for sure, man. Farah, see you, man. He's a producer from Philippines. I'm working on a small project with this guy, and he's got some vocalists from Philippines, and Kit is very enthusiastic, you know, about production, and this just reminds me, like, because I started production at his age, and it's good to see, like, there are people like him who are doing the same thing which I did a few years ago. Oh man, I wish there were a way to automate this. Right, how many tracks are there? Okay, I think we are almost there. Almost. Also, you don't have to be like super precise with this. It's just that you have to lock these automations. So what if I just lock them instead? I guess I could do that. Make them go up. Yeah, what if I just drag them all down here? Because they're gonna get used either way. Yeah, makes more sense. Come on. Oh, by the way, one important thing, like while you're doing it, make sure you guys are on the bar settings here. Because in case by mistake you hit the right or the left, so the automations would move considerably. So you can see whenever you make a mistake, because that would change how the track's going to sound. Okay, I think this much is enough. So I'm gonna just hit shift on my keyboard and click on these green lights here. This would make it locked. So whenever I click somewhere else and solo or unmute, these won't get affected by it. Okay, there's so many. Oh, I wish there was a way to automate this, man. So many clicks. I guess there is. I just probably don't know what the automation for this is in FL, because FL has done some really major upgrades in this newer version, and they've added some new macros as well, I think, and there should be one for this. Okay, fine. I think we're done with the automation. What is this? Oh no, there's more automation. So okay, in a situation like this where you're not sure whether you have placed all the automation here or not, just do the same thing. Go into automation, select every one of them, and just see whether you have some automations left. They'll be here somewhere. Yeah, so oh my god, what the hell? I didn't even notice half of these. Great, I'll just bring them down. Alright. This is going to be a mess. Fine, I'll just lock these as well. I think that's better than, you know, actually trying to fit and arrange. But you know, I would suggest you guys do that, you know, like actually arrange it so that it looks good. What I would even do sometimes is like I would right click on these and just group them above like this and just close it all, because that just makes your project look neat. But right now we don't have to. Maybe by the end of the stream I might even just do that, but right now for the sake of stemming we don't need to do that. Alright. Think we're done? Alright. We're done now. Okay. So why did I do all this? Why did I have to like lock all of the automation in one place? I'll tell you why. Because I have some things, for example, look at this element right here. Now I have used some kind of volume automation here. If you come to the screen, you would see that I have automated the volume. And not only the volume but the pan as well. Now when I create the stems, I want them to be already convert it into a final like waveform, so that I don't have to like again automate it. Or better yet, if I send it to someone like a mix engineer or someone for collaboration, they should get the audio file printed with all these automations happening at those times. So this just helps in the entire process. Now the next step would be to arrange the patterns. So what I usually do is I begin with the center of the track, which is basically the kick and bass. So in this case I've already done a bit of it, so I'll just mute the kick and bass. I'll just wait, how to do that? Wait, it didn't do that. Control? No, not control. I think it's Alt. Yeah. So I click Alt and I hit the mouse on the topmost one and it'll mute everything in that group. Same thing with the bass. And now I can just hear the patterns and the SFX elements which I've used, which I can then again send to another track, which I can like group together and then stem it into one single wave file. So let's play. Also, one more advantage of this, doing all of this, is it just helps you keep your project very like organized, and that will help you see many of the mistakes that you might have done while producing the track. Things like this thing right here. I'm not sure if I made that mistake, but like while producing the track, but like look over here, what's happening. It's overlapping on top of this, which I don't think is what I would have wanted it to do. Probably wanted it to start here. So I would just wait here at once. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It should come here. Okay, so I've got some snares here, which I've again transferred into one group. So I'm going to mute this group here. Now the claps as well, because these are all like things which I have grouped already into some things. So by muting, I can focus on the things which I have not grouped. So I can just focus on that. Like I'm gonna mute this also, and this I've called it brass bam for some reason, because it sounds like bam. I'm going to mute this as well. And then we've got miscellaneous percussions here. Okay, what is this? Great. Okay, so usually I would work on the vocal segments at this point, because then I can mute the vocal segments and focus on the SFX elements like the zap effect or the uplifters and transitions. So I'm going to rename this track as vocal 1 and I'm going to color it into something. Now this is where some of your creativity will also come into picture. Like you have to think what kind of elements you want them to be unique in your stems, right? For example, here I have this vocal. It's like a down-pitched version of the original vocal, like it sounds like a male singing it. And then I've got this one. No, not this one. The one here, which is a female vocal. So you can separate them into two separate stems, so that the mix engineer or the guy who's going to collaborate with gets to choose which one he has to work with. You can also see whether there's an overlap of two different vocals in some segments. So right now I have color coded it into pink. So the next one I'm going to rename it again and call it vocal 2. Vocal 2, and this can be, I don't know, some purple color. And wait, oh crap, I have to mute it again. So I'll group this with this, hit Alt and mute everything on top of that, just the same way. Okay. So we have wait, the vocals actually begin way before that. I'm going to transfer this here. That's like a female vocal, so yeah, I'm going to do that same thing for this reverse effect which I just used. I'm going to actually, better yet, what I can do is I can get all the vocals into one place and then move them all together. Got this Mongolian. Yeah, there she is. So these can go together. And was this the vocal? Yep. Move them together. Alright. Let me just check the settings here once. I don't know, I think it's probably the microphone here, because of which you guys are not getting the like volume levels, the right levels. I would figure something out for that in the next stream. So many layers. I love this. It's always good to rediscover your projects. I love listening to my old projects. Oh wait, we have some more of this Mongolian guy here. Just move that. I guess I'll move that with this one. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, this is a crazy unique sound because it's a layer of 4 sounds. You might not even notice it. And I've even used like vocoding to get this final result like this. This was like this originally. And then this is another layer. This is another layer, and this layer is a result of me using a like vocodex with a carrier in Hammer, and then it was basically a saw wave, and I used this vocal for the modulator, and then got this and layered it with that to get this, and then layered all of them together one more time. Interesting. Okay, so there are like, how many layers is this? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 layers of the same thing. So I think I will create one more group, call it vocal 3, and that could be like 3 different no, 4 different tracks. So this will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Group with this, group with this, you group with this, okay, and 25 can again be grouped with this, so it will become a group in all. I'll rename this to vocal 3, and this can all be the same. By the way, this is all just to make it easy for us in the stemming process, because when we're going to stem it, what I'm going to do is like select this part. For example, if this is the region we're going to stem, I'm going to select all of this and then go here and into tools, consolidate playlist selection, and from selection start. What it's going to do is it's going to render this all into like one single audio waveform. So that's going to be pretty cool. Alright, what's going on here? Yeah, I believe we had some Mongolian vocals here somewhere. By the way, you guys can like ask questions if you find anything, you know, in this project, because I'm also kind of rediscovering this project. Stopped working on this for like 1 week or so, and now I don't know where things are. Which is the main reason for stemming today, so that it's more organized. Alright. Also, one more thing, if I'm not mentioned it so far, there's one more way of stemming your mixer slots. Like I have seen people go into the render settings here, and they go to file and they go to export, go to wave file, and then there's this option of split mixer slots. Wait. Okay. Alright. I have to hit save. So there's this option of split mixes tracks in this, which basically splits all the mixer slots into individual waveforms. But there is a big problem with that, especially for a track which uses so many audio samples such as me. You often do end up with things which, you know, sometimes might be either routed to the same mixer track, you know, so there'll be an overlap, or even worse, you might have some unrouted samples which might be directly routed to the master. So in that case, what happens is you just lose that stem, which that stem as a unique sound sample, and it is clubbed together with all the other sounds in the mixer, and what you end up is with a audio file like the one which I played in the beginning, and there's no way of getting the soloed version of that, which is why I prefer this method of you know, stemming and consolidating the tracks, because that way I can control what the stems will be, and this is basically a much better, like more professional way of doing this. Alright, I seem to have soloed it again. I'm going to mute all of these again. I need to keep remembering that not to like unmute these or solo something. Okay, this is like a texture sound, or is it a vocal? Wait a minute. That sounds out of key. Is the key... Wait, what's the key of this track? So this is something I do sometimes, like I would go into the project and like write it here. Okay, great, I've not written it here. So I'm just going to write it for now. I think it is G sharp. Let me just check. How do I check? How do I check? Oh yeah, the bass. Okay, it's G sharp. Great. Alright. So this sample... Oh, alright. I see. I have repitched it. Like the original sample was at G, so I increased the pitch by 1 semitone and now it's in G sharp, so it makes sense. Alright, cool. Back to stemming. Hey man, Arjun, how's it going? How's your project coming along? Are you working on that Sarjanka type project? How's it going? Alright, this is like an effect, so I'll leave that alone. I hear some kind of vocal here, so I'm just looking for that sample. But I feel like it's the same sample, this one. Let me mute this. Yeah, it was that one. Yeah, there was a reverse sample here somewhere. I'm going to put that into the vocal segment as well. Like, is this the one? Yeah. Okay, so this is like a female vocal, so I'm going to put it into the vocal one. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you. So there's a lot of orchestral elements here and there, but they're not exactly like orchestral. Like there are some Cajun instruments and I think it's a bongo. So I've used like cinematic orchestral instrument as one of the like groups. So I'm not going to mess with that because they sound like this. Which is not exactly what these instruments are. These are more like ethnic kind. So I think I will put them into a separate group. Right. One more thing that can be done is you can like put them here and group it here itself, so that you don't have to like individually send all of them up here because it's too far. So how many times are you gonna do that? So all you can do is arrange it here and then move them by scrolling this with shift. So I'm going to group this with this one, call this is that a Cajun? Yeah, it is. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, actually I do intend to like make tutorials. Like I even was on the brink of making a tutorial on this like 1 month ago, but due to my collaboration schedule and the fact which I told you initially that there's so many things which I'm doing right now which I wouldn't have been like able to show into a small video of stemming. So that's the reason why. But yeah, for sure, man. I need to like get back into making tutorials. You know, what would help is if you guys can tell me what kind of sounds you guys want me to cover. So that would help me get the topics right. All right. Let's keep this close to the cinematic orchestral drums. Okay, it's way too similar in color. Maybe I'll make it, yeah. There's some vocals here. This is basically a granulized sample which I made with Fruity Granulizer. Basically, you take the original sample and you flip it by separate. Sounds like this. Maybe I'll make a tutorial on this. Okay, so this can go into that vocal part, the third vocal. Yeah, so this is where stemming, you know, comes into picture. Like why we don't split them into mixer tracks like I showed. It's because here I have an overlap between the vocal which I made with vocoder and this thing which I did with granular. This is more like an ambient sort of effect here in this case. So I think I will create a group and call it ambient because there are a lot of ambient sounds in this. So I'll give that yellow color. Like all you're hearing right now apart from the bass is all ambient. Oh, there's some bass here. I should probably send that up as well. Oh, too far. Sub bass, yes. Okay, notice how there is like some bass here, like rumbling. So let me show you. If you come here, when you remove the bass from your track, like the kick and bass, because they're the center of the track, you would see all kinds of noise in the low frequencies over here in this oscilloscope. Sorry, not oscilloscope, spectrogram. So you see, these are the mistakes which need fixing, and this is basically a way to isolate those issues, because when you are actually working on a track, these sort of add up and you might not even notice that because maybe some other part of the track will be overpowering this. So this is just what I do. I just mute all the bassy elements and then individually go and correct these issues. So in this case, I don't think it's this one. Yeah, it's this sample here. Okay, just a minute. There's one more thing that can be done, which I usually do, but I don't think I did it properly in this track. If you come here into the mixer slots, you would see that the first four slots are usually like not used. You know, whenever you work on a new project, like go here, new, and go to a new project, what happens is FL starts routing from the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th tracks. That's because you have those initial 4 samples, the stock samples, the kick, hat, clap and snare. They are routed to this, and what ends up happening is we don't even use these because, well, who uses those samples really? So what I do is I put parametric EQ here to sort of high pass some of my elements in the track, because now I don't have to individually split the mixer tracks, right? So uh, what I can do is, for example, in this case I have this fire sample which had some rumbling sounds, right? When I go back, wait, I'll go back to screen one. If you preview here, you'll see that it has some rumbling sound. That's because it's not routed anywhere. I'm going to route it to track 1, and now it's much cleaner. See, now it won't interfere with the bass. So that is like one thing we can do. What I do is I go one step further and I create like 4 different levels of high pass. Like the first one would be somewhere here around the low mid, before the low mid even, you know, for some things like the mid bassy elements, you know. And then for the second one I would put another parametric EQ which would be slightly towards the higher side, you know, of the bass. And I don't know why I did here in this track, but I usually go to the higher side of the low mid area. And then the third one can be even higher, like I did here. And the fourth one can be, well, I used it for something else here. Fine. But that just is one, you know, trick which you can use. Okay, let's get back to the second screen here. And wait. So I've got like a lot of ambient sounds here. Ambient sounds, usually I wouldn't even bother, you know, separating them, because you can always like turn down the ambient thing, you know. It gives character to the music, I believe, you know. So you can always turn it down and add a different kind of ambient sound, and it would make very minimal effect to the track, you know. It would just add character to the track. So I could, you know, even send all of these into one group and render that group as one single wave file, and that's how we can go about that. We have, okay, I will insert one more. Rename them to ambient. Group them, and mute them. Some pads. By the way, for the sake of today's stream, I'm going to just render the stems for the first drop, because if I start working on the entire track, it's going to take an entire day. So, and that's not really required. So I'm going to just arrange these elements here and show you how I consolidate them. Okay, go up here. Wait, why is it called sub? There's no sub here. It's a super saw. Alright. Rename this. Guys, do let me know if I am on the wrong screen at any point, because I can't really tell by, like which screen you're looking at. I'm checking the chat from time to time, so let me know if you guys are ever in the wrong screen. Okay, this will be pad. Oh no, that was not a pad, my bad. That rhymed. Super saw. Well, I guess you could call it a pad, but it's not exactly a pad. Yeah, kick riser. This is one more like request I've been getting of how to do a kick riser like Vinny Vici. Like, how does he do the kick riser? Well, I could show you here actually. The thing is, it's a very easy trick. All you have to do is use direct wave, and you don't even have to use direct wave, to be honest. Like, if you come to this screen, you can even use the sampler which comes with the stock plugins and just drop a loop. Okay, and the loop should basically have the loop points already set in Edison before you drop it to the direct wave or the sampler. And what happens is, if you hold a note, this is what happens. So what I did, I went into this playlist and I took the kick samples here and I rendered them into one wave file, and then I brought them back into Edison, put a loop on it, and then dropped it into direct wave, and then a slide note, and this is what it sounds like now. Fun stuff. But you know what, I will make a tutorial on that and go in depth with how, like, there are a few more ways to achieve that sound, and yeah, we'll take care. What is this? Okay, it's an action loop. Action loops, well, it could go into cinematic orchestral because it's creating some motion there, and then we have the vocals. You would notice one thing, and that is, with time this gets easier, like, because the more you make, the more groups you make, the more places you know where the samples would go, so it gets easier. And it just is difficult in the initial few minutes, but like I said, you guys should probably start with the kick and the bass first, because they sort of try to overpower the entire track, and then you won't be even be able to hear anything, the effects and stuff. So do that. What's this? Oh, this is a nice effect. This is also an SFX actually. What is this? This is another SFX. I don't know why I named it FTFG SFX. Okay. Alright. Oh, by the way, SFX, there's one more thing. I usually don't do anything with the transitions and SFX, because they can be grouped into just two different stem files and it'll still be fine, because you can always change the SFX. And transitions, well, there are tons of transitions, and it really doesn't matter if the the guy you're collaborating with has the exact the transition effects, and that's why I just put all of them into one group which will have 6 to 7 tracks, and then I render that 6 to 7 tracks into one single wave file, and then it's good to go. It's these effects which need work. Okay. Let's go up. Did I mute it? I didn't. What was that? I heard some weird sound here. Alright, this is like the Cajun instrument. This should go up again. Wait, where is it? Yeah, so this is some background effects which I rendered into stems, like mini stems, consolidated them, because they were taking too much CPU. And it's always a good practice to consolidate, because the synths and oh nice, the synths and the plugins which you use, they all run on RAM, and that can be really CPU heavy. Actually, background effects could technically be grouped with the ambient one, so I'm going to do that. Group with the It's crazy. Like I would usually work on one part of this track, and just by working on one part of the track, I would have essentially like organized everything. I would have set the stage for the rest of the track. So in that case, I would have to just drag them up to the right locations. So you have to just do this part once, and you would be good to go. This is like pulsating saw. More granular work, the same thing which I did, but this time it is with a synth. Wait, why is it? Move up. Oh, it's that one from the hardstyle part. Can go into the ambient section. What's that? Some riser sound. I love my naming conventions. Like, look at this one. Dong. It's called dong. What does it sound like? Of course. I guess this is also a kind of pluck, so I think I have a group here for plucks. Is this it? Yeah, it sounds kind of similar, so I'll just group them together because it doesn't matter if I have them separate, because this is sort of giving off the same expression. So I would just do this and plucks, group with the bar track. And you can be muted again. Yeah, there was some reverse effect here again. It's like, where is it? Like, yeah, this is the one. So this goes into vocal again. There are some more vocals here. Usually I would render them also. So I mean arrange them as well. So there's this bop, and then we have a reverse oi. Okay, so this can go into female, this can go into the male. 1 and 2. Okay. Complete silence. That means the kick and bass are the only thing which is like playing. I love that. So the dong, I have a group for that. What the hell? Are they rising up here? I have engaged the stretch mode here and pitched it up so that it doesn't change its length. Alright. Go back a few. What is this? Oh. Oh no. What is this layer? Oh, it's a hammer. What would this be? Some background effect, I'm sure. So maybe this can go into ambient as well, because actually no, this I think I'll put it into the SFX section. Let me make the SFX section now, because we have enough SFX now. And the reason why I do this is because the drops in Psytrance are all SFX and transitions. So after you're done with these, you know, like the claps, the snares, the plugs, the vocals, these things, it is very easy to do the rest of the things, because SFX, as I said, can be grouped into like 1 or at max 2 or 3, you know, like you don't have to make individual like renders for individual sounds, because all that matters is that there's no overlapping between two like elements, okay, in your stems. So if I create like 3 stems for SFX, it means that I have like 3 at some point in my track I have like 3 elements stacked on top of each other. So that should be the only reason to create like 3 stems for SFX. Other than that, I would make a decision and you know, sort of squish them together into one wave file, and that is good to go, you know, for mixing and mastering purposes at least. So this would be SFX1, as I said. have a few elements here and there and just put them down. We have some Cajun here, and what the hell is this? This is more Cajun. Knew it. I'm gonna put them together. Come on. Where the hell is that? Yeah, there it is. I hear some tabla. Alright. What's this? Oh yeah, there it is. Tabla, I guess. Well, I can sort of club it with Cajun. I wouldn't really mind because it's a very similar sound, and as far as mixing is concerned, shouldn't like matter. So yeah, put it in the Cajun. I hear bass. Is this bass? Yeah. Why the hell? Okay. You can see that it has some bass in it, so probably used it for bass. So I'll just put this one into the bass as well. And this is like kind of sub bass, I guess. So make one more and rename this. But it's not exactly sub bass, it's like a it's a saw based bass, like it's a super saw bass pad. You know, I would be really good at naming samples for sample packs. What's this? SFX, more SFX, and this is. So I would say this is not exactly a bass because I didn't intend it that way. It's more like a mid bass. So I would put it into the mid bass section. Which is here. There are so many mixing issues here and there which I can hear right now. I'll probably fix them after I'm done with this. Wait, I hear some plucks. What kind of pluck? It's like a ARP. Oh, it's this, isn't it? So, okay, I can put this into a different group, but I'm going to group it with the pluck group, then make a decision whether I want to make individual renders or club this into the plug group. So group, come on, group with the about track, pluck, 2. Actually it's 3. Got some snaps here, snap samples, move them up. And we can place it above the claps. Rename, color it. Okay. Yeah, I think we're almost done with this intro. It's like when you're not able to hear anything else, it means you're like almost there. Because these transitions, I'm going to group them into one. Actually, I'm not even going to group them, to be honest. I'm just going to make a group for SFX, and then whatever is left behind is going to be my transition group. So it's like one less thing to do, basically. All right. More tabla. Can go to Kijon. So these are like okay, I think I will group these into one. This is 1, 2 and 3. Actually, I don't need 3. I can do with 2. This can go up like this. These are like organic instruments. Organic, yeah, sure. This can be, oh, what? And group with the power track. And now this is what I was talking about, in case you have like the things very far away from that, you can group them and just move the group. But I find that it takes a lot of time to actually move the group, you know, rather than move the elements themselves and create a group on top. For some weird reason, I feel it takes like more time. Could be because it has to like realign every track at once, you know, the track before it and the track after it, and renumber everything. Alright. Almost there. Can mute this. Yeah, so these effects will go into the transition, and this could be a SFX. So now I'm going to make the SFX group here itself, because all the effects are here only. So this will be the SFX2, because we already have a SFX1, and these can go here, and I'll mute this. This can come into the SFX2 as well, because there's no other sample on top of it, so it's not going to matter. Okay, I hear some organic instruments being played somewhere, so they have to go into their group. Yeah, there it is, and that group is up top. Wait. Yeah, there it is. Wait, what is the key of this one? Yeah, I did pitch it. Okay. More SFX, more SFX. This is also an SFX. Haha, I like that effect. This should actually shine. Why is it not? I think this effect sounds much better than the other effects around. So when I'm stemming, this also helps, you know, like I can see now clearly like where the elements are and which element should be given priority over which one, which I won't have if I had like 200 and something like 56 tracks to look at all at once. So this does help. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention before getting this thing started. What I did was I went into this and I selected all the muted elements and deleted them so that I don't have to deal with them because they are a pain in the ass apart from the other things we are doing right now. So this could be SFX3 because there's like too much overlaying here. Usually a track would do with 3 SFX layers, but if your track is like having more than 3 elements play at once, then you need to figure out like which sound you really want in those 4 sounds, because it's like it's like putting different sounds together, and just because they sound good when soloed. And wait, what's this? That's some SFX too. Noise. This can go up. Here. Oh, crazy. I had this sample here where the guy was saying hard style, like very, in a very deep voice. But I get it got like suppressed because of the other sounds. Where the hell is it? Is it this one? Bonus vocal, yeah. So badass. I will put that in the same group, yeah, of the male vocal, because it sounds very similar. This is okay. This is like a fill element. Do I have a fill layer? Like a fill group? I don't see it. Fine. Usually create one for fill elements as well, because there are a lot of fill elements in the drop. What the hell? Oh, what? Yeah. Don't you guys hate it when you hit like caps lock instead of shift, and then the text which you wanted to make capital becomes small instead of the other way? I like this tune. I think this was the lick. Oh, come on. So there's this shortcut which is the same as the hotkey in my OBS, because of which is just doing crazy things here. So when I press Windows +1, it's playing the first pattern, I think. Where the hell is the mains? That is. So I'll put this into a group and call it, I don't know, tune. It's like a small micro expression in the track. So many lines. No, it's not because of arrangement. I mean, yeah, it does look good. That's like the added benefit of arranging the track like this. But the main reason why I'm doing this is so that I can consolidate the stems, and so I can send this project to someone, you know, so I can collaborate with them, or maybe I can send it for mixing and mastering as well. So that's the main reason, and yeah, it does look good, much better than what it was initially. So that's the reason. It's called, what's it? It's like a synth, but what kind of synth? Super saw. It's not exactly super saw, but it's based on super saw. Wait, this ARP is nothing? Why do I have this here? Let me check. Oh, come on, not again. Ah, crap. What is this? This is nothing. So apparently I put the chord progression of this track into a sampler and there's nothing here. What the hell? Is it... What? Are you sure? What if I remove this? Yep. So stupid. It's like it never existed. So the riser is usually like 90% of it is just transitions. What you have to make sure here is to find out the elements which you really want the producer you're working with to have access to. Like in this case, I want the producer I'm going to send this to probably have this element here, which sounds like this. No, not this one. This one. So I'm going to put this one and only this one into a group and into a track, and I'm going to call this riser element to render, and move this up top, and all the rest of the things will just be part of this group called as the transitions, and there's not much which has to be done over there. Wait, what? Oh, crap. So I seem to have soloed that particular instrument, and now everything is um, muted. So this is exactly where this comes into, use the uh, locking of automation. So initially what I did was I pulled all the automation down here and locked it so that I don't like lose when I solo instruments, I don't have to like unmute them every time. And so even now, if I go to this one, for example, and I just solo this, I can hear the automations happening. The filters are being applied to this one. So I can now like unmute everything and then mute the groups. Wait, there was another group. Yeah, there it is. You can mute that also. So then we have this psychedelic stab. This is a. So I have like a group of, like I have a folder where I've rendered many of my SFX, which are like effects I made in Hammer and stuff. And this is like one of them. I think it's a good practice to save your own samples, because who knows when you might need them. I hear some blips. The blips can go up. Yeah. Okay. I want this effect to be unique. The rest I don't care much about. There's some transition, and wait, there's a SFX here somewhere. Where the hell are you? Oh, come on. Yeah, I hear it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I want this part to be unique as well because it's a very distinct sound, and it's not a sample, so I would render that. Okay. Some synthy sounds. Yeah, this would, I guess it should be part of the transitions because it's like a reverse effect. What else? What else do we have? Is that this? No, there's some other sound which is being played. Okay. Alright, so this is like a atmosphere, ambient sound. So just move it up. Okay, there we go. This can go into the fill, like we created a group called fill. Fill. Hey, why do I hear some snares? Didn't I route them? Okay, fine. I'll just move the snares up. Going up, going up, going up. Oh my god, this is so huge, man, this project. Okay. There's one more SFX sound somewhere, it's being played. And yeah, it's this one. You can move this up. It's like doom, doom, doom. There you go. Yeah, I hear some animal sounds that could go into the ambient section as well. Ambient. Where's the ambient piece? So the next thing is this element here. The flute. Wait, the flute, right? So it should be an organic instruments. Toy. What's that effect? It's a zap effect. It's a zap, and this is another SFX. I'll just put them both into SFX 1 and 2. 2 and 3 actually. Oh crap. There's something here already. Fine, I'll put this in 1. I think we're almost there. The thing is, intros usually have the most elements in, as far as my tracks are concerned, because what I do is I go for a top-down approach. I write the end parts, the drops first, and then sort of write the things which build towards it, rather than shooting in the sky and like looking for where the track is leading, which could be a good way to inspire some new ideas, but I feel like we should always know where we're heading, otherwise the project could go on forever. And I think that is a very common occurrence. Like, I guess you guys also might have faced something like this, where you must have started a project and then you kept writing and then you just don't know where it's leading up to. So, yeah. This could go. Yeah, did I create a group for hardstyle kicks? Yes, I did. Okay, another fill element. Fill can go into fill. Oh, wait. SFX. Okay, there it is. So, okay, I have like so many elements which are like going together. I think I will like chop some of them off while finalizing these sounds, because having too many sounds just sounds chaotic, and it's just simplicity, which I think our brain loves, you know. The most like famous tracks are the ones which have very few elements. Like look at um, Animals for example. Like what the hell? It's just one sound and a kick. Wait, rename. Wait, what? There's more? Oh. God, I put so many effects into this project, seriously. This is a lot. I usually don't put so many effects. Alright. Okay, we have snares here. And where are they? Where are they? Okay. Yeah, so here I've done the same exact same thing which I just showed with the kicks. I took the snare samples and I put it into Edison and created a loop and then dragged it into Direct Wave. You don't have to have the full license of Direct Wave, like even I don't have it. It's a Direct Wave player. And all I did was, after placing the loop there, I just pitched it with these slide notes, and this is what we get. It's pretty cool. Yeah, this should go into the snares group. Oh, I love this. This part is amazing. Sound like a narcissist right now. Zap effect. Wait, there was some inconsistency. Okay, it's just this. Fill. Yes. Where is that effect? Might have rendered it into a sample or something. Did I miss it? What's this? Really? How the hell did I manage that? I see. So this would definitely go into the SFX section, because even though I used delay 3 to create this, the sample now. Okay. All right. These are all claps. Claps can go into the clap section. is the clap track. Yeah. I think I have a hard style kick here somewhere. Yeah, these are like transition effects, you know. It's a hall kick, sounds like this. Okay, and then we have this. I won't really put this into the kick section because it's like a transition element. Okay, what the hell is this? Weird sample. What is this? There's so much unnecessary stuff here during the drop. Like, look at this. There's so much like things which we don't need, which only become visible when you like arrange it like this, you know. And for a Psytrance track, that is very essential, because the cleaner your track is, the better the SFX will stand out. Alright, what the hell is this? Yep, SFX. And this is ambient sound. Ambient sounds can go into the ambient section. Yeah, I think now it's gonna get much easier, because now we just have to put the SFX into the SFX group, and hopefully we'll not have too many elements lying around. Okay, this is like a brass instrument, and this can go into the brass section, which is, keep calling it section for some reason. There's the brass group. Yeah, there it is. What is this sound doing here? Achha, this is okay. This is the vocal. So the vocal should be in the vocal section. Go to the vocal section. Done. This is an SFX as well. So, come on. Yeah. Yeah, see how it's overlapping here? Come on. See, much cleaner. And then there are some random sounds around. Oh, what the hell? Hard noise. What's the other sound? Okay. I don't think this played. Okay, this played. Should go to the hard style section. Still SFX, still SFX. All of them are SFX. Okay. Doom. Come on, where is it? There it is. Can go to the SFX. Man, there are just too many SFX here. Guys, do let me know any tutorials that you want me to cover, you know, after this, because I'm going to make tutorials in the next like the next few weeks. So tell me some topics which I can cover. Like I have this cake riser as the next tutorial, and then there is the dub delay. Man, that everyone asks how to do the dub delay. It used to be not quite possible in FL like some time ago. All you had was direct wave, and you could have just the endpoint looping in. I mean, automating and creating that weird rising effect. But until delay 3 came, there wasn't much as far as the rising dub delay effect is concerned. Couldn't do it until FL12 introduced it. So I'm thinking I'll make a tutorial on like dub delay where I'll just mention both of those things. And yeah, what is this? Yeah. All SFX, all SFX. Okay, I have an idea. I'll just route the vocals, and then everything else probably is an SFX, so I'm going to group them together. What is this? It seems like a transition effect. Yeah, these things can come here, and these things all can come here, so I can work properly with this.
Journey into sound. The journey into sound.
This goes up. Where's that sound? Alright. I guess I'll just move all of them together now to the top, so they're all in one place. Maybe I can just group them into like 2 or 3 SFX. I guess some of these could actually be like a synth fill kind of thing, you know, like doesn't have to be in SFX, but for the sake of this video, it's gonna be here. If some of you have seen my old songs, you probably have heard this effect a lot. I've used this in many songs actually. Ambient effect, where is it? Vocal. Yeah. Alright, that's why I had the cowbell thing. Right. Makes so much sense. I've been wondering why I had a cowbell track here for no reason. Yeah, guess that answers it. Okay, play it without it. Do I have a hat layer here? I mean, a hat track. Man, I've been used to Photoshop, so I'm calling these layers now. These are layers. Doesn't seem like it. So I have like 3 loops for hats, like they're all layers. They all contribute up to some level to the rhythm of the track, so that's why, like for example, I have this one which has this small element here at the end, this sample, which gives that end, you know, that rhythm. What do you call, what am I saying? The swing, yes, my bad. I'll just put these 3 into one group, call it hat. Come on. Trust me, guys, this is like one of the, like, oh my god, what the hell? What the hell? All right. So this is like one of the most boring parts of production, but this is what differentiates, a lot of professional tracks, in my opinion, because uh, then you wouldn't have clashing elements, in the track. That would only happen once you are able to see them. I've seen so many projects recently sent by some people, and there are many issues usually with the quantization and overlapping of elements, and mixing issues, with rumbling noises in the low frequencies. All of those problems can be solved by being more organized, and it begins with this. And if you're someone like me who is not organized, then you can always do this at the end of the project. So that's always there. It's always there. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is bring all the SFX elements close to each other, so I can just go ahead and mute them all at once, while rendering. Yeah, so there they are, all of these SFX. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna add like a group, and just for this, I'm going to call that SFX. 1, 2, 3. We have 4. And then we can have one more. 5. One more. 6, and they can all go there. Yeah, done. What's that? Yeah, this can go into the SFX. Yeah, there's some kind of, what's this? Bam. I think I consolidated some SFX, made an FX, and yeah. So notice something here. When I play this section, if I play it, you will see some kind of noise here, which happens when the riser sort of ends. Like, look at this. You see this here, the small blip. This is unwanted, basically. So you can just remove it during mixing stage, or you can do something like this. I think it's probably because of this. Yeah. So you can just make this unique and go here and go to transient bleeding and go back here. This usually happens because of how a sample stops. So suppose you have a waveform and suddenly it stops cutting to 0 level, there's that sudden transient which creates that impulse in the low frequencies. So now look, if you look at the spectrogram, it's gone. And we have some effect, some small blip here which happens at this area. We can just yeah, we can just extend it like that. Done. I usually fix these small issues during the mixing stage, or I send it to someone who does, but this is just how you could go about it, you know. And yeah, we're almost done with this drop, so I think we're reaching the end. Some SFX elements here and there which needs to be moved to the right location, and then we can look at, we have some transition elements which just have to be grouped into one. So what it's like a question mark. This can go to the RAM section, like the brass section. There you go. What? We have so many samples here. There can be times when you have like samples which are just there sitting and which don't add up to the song, so you can make that decision at this stage, you know, like which one to actually use and which one to not use. Like I might probably use one of these and remove the other one, but I'll have to listen to all of that together, because in the end that's what matters, of how it all comes together and not how individual elements sound. Okay, we have this. This can go up. Man, these individual SFX, you know what I should have done? I should have put all the SFX into like a big group of like 5 to 6 SFX elements, and then just yeah, I should have just put them into one group and then just rendered it into one. Where is this fill? There it is. Where's the fill group? Come on. Alright. Fine. I think we're nearly done. These samples are from this pack. It's called Trima SFX or something. It's a free pack by this producer. They're pretty good. Vocal can go to vocal. Where the hell is that? Okay, there it is. And this is a fill. Fill can go into fill. I get it, this is like a snare, but I think it should go into fill because it's like part of that fill sound. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with this first drop and the intro. So I'm going to just move these SFX on to the top and group them into one, and we'll just have a look of what we did. Okay, this can be grouped with the bow, this can be grouped with this. Now we have a group of SFX here, and this can be colored accordingly. Wait. Okay. Alright. The cowbell can go up as well. Cowbell, I think I'd put that much on the top, somewhere near the snares and the claps, because it's a big part of the rhythm. So alright. Alright, so this part is pretty much done, and this is what I'm going to do now. Whatever elements that are remaining here in the drop, apart from this one, I'm going to put them into a group and call it transitions, and those transitions will be rendered separately. So this is like ambient effect, this goes here. Now okay, so this is how the track looks so far. We have arranged everything from here to here, and I'm going to work on this section later tonight and, you know, arrange everything. And yeah, this is how it sounds. It's important to have a preview of the entire track after you have like done this, because there might be times when you might have shifted something left or right, and that might mess up the timing of the track. So always try to like listen to the file which you render before doing this, and always keep a backup. Now I'm going to play through. Finally, we are here. How long has it been so far? 2 hours, 29 minutes, and so far we haven't stemmed anything out. Now we come to the meat of this entire stream, which is actually doing some stemming. So this is what I'm going to do, since I have to actually stem this track into something. I'm going to create a new version here. Just come to the screen and show you. This particular version is, by the way, the 16th version of this track. I like to keep backup of every project that I'm working on, so I'll just save this as a new project. So it's like the 17th version now. Okay, back to the other screen. Okay, so now I'm going to actually render the stems of this project based on whatever arrangement I did for the first drop and the intro. So here we go. So let's say we stop here. Alright, so I'm going to render the stems up until this point. So let's begin with the kicks. Now remember how we got the automations down there and in the bottom, and kept it separate from the patterns and the samples. Now what we can do is we can just solo this each and every instrument, and the automations will still be put, like in this case the filter. It's pretty cool. Also, things like the bass, they have been layered in this particular track, so I don't want to like have one separate stem for the bass and one separate stem for the mid bass, like this one. I can just render this and combine it into one sample. So let's begin with the kicks. I definitely want one stem which will have this entire like sequence, and one for the hardstyle kicks, which are like backing this kick. Yeah. So I'm going to select the kicks here. Wait, hold on. Let me go to the start position once. Alright. So suppose I did the arrangement like I did for this part, for the entire track. Then my stems would be beginning at this point at 26, and it would be going up until this point, because this is where the track stops. So but for now, since the first drop stops at around 125, I'm going to render the stems till 129 for all the elements here. Okay, so I'm going to select this here, go into this menu here about the picker panel, go to tools, consolidate playlist selection, and then from selection start. And if I bring this over here to the side of the screen, we've got options here. We've got cut remainder, and we have wave file. I usually prefer 24-bit int for the wave file, but you can also go for 32-bit float. It's just that it doesn't matter as much because 24-bit in itself is a very high like quality sample, and there's a big headroom to this as well, which is like another topic altogether. But 24-bit would be more than enough for rendering the stems without losing any considerable amounts of quality. And then in the quality section, I would have the maximum setting, which is 512 point sync. The sync is just one of the waveform. It looks like this in electrical terms. It's just a way of resampling this. So 512 point sync would be a pretty good quality. And then we have HQ for all plugins, disable maximum polyphony, Then we have save playlist markers, blah 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 blah. Alright, fine, start. And this could take a long time. So while it's rendering, let's do something else. I've got alright, let me check. I have one more project that I'm planning to release in the next month, and one by the end of this month. So I'm just thinking whether to give you the playthrough. I guess I can give you a small preview of the track. Okay. So this track, I'm planning to release the FLP as well for you guys, just like Adivasi, so you guys can look into the project file and see how I made the entire track. So this is what it sounds like. All right.
It's easy to be captivated by the world out there. It's a fascinating place. It's deserving of this attention. What if we were to invert our focus and look inside? What would we find?
That's a long ass preview. But yeah, so I'm going to release this track by the end of this month, and I'm going to give away the project file as well to you guys, so that you can have a look of how I made this track. So how much have we done here? It's like 84%. Still a lot to do. Let's check Spotify. So I have recently made this playlist on Spotify dedicated to Psy Trance, and this is basically a collection of tracks which I update like every week and curate it. So just wanted to see how many of you guys have actually checked it. By the way, I'm so happy that Spotify finally made its way to this country. I mean, I have been personally waiting for this for a very long time to happen, and it's finally, it's good to see that the country has finally introduced its service here. And what the hell is happening here? Let me check the web player. Web player. Yes. I just updated this playlist yesterday. I added some really cool songs. I don't want to play them because this video is probably going to be published on YouTube. So I just want to avoid the copyright issues, because I faced those already last year. Alright, we are almost done. Yep. And there you have it. Now what I would do usually at this point is I would take this sample and I would render all the samples first of all. Like for example, there's this bass. I would just select all of this and render it into one sample. And after I have all the stems for the track, if you look at the pickup panel here, you would have individual samples like this starting from here. Okay, so you can right click on them and save it into one folder just to keep yourself organized. And then after you're done with that, you can just drag that into a new project and just check whether the way you sampled it, the way you stemmed it actually gives out the same audio output as what your project file does. So I can show you one project where I did do that so that you get an idea. Wait, let me check. Stemmed file, right? Okay. Do have one project. It's like an ongoing collaboration though. So, alright, maybe I can show you the video I recorded last month when I was trying to publish a tutorial on how to do stemming, like a short video. So, I think it's here. Alright. Yeah. So this is how it should end up looking like after you're done. If VLC would just open up the damn video. Come on, dude. Alright. So this is how it should end up looking like. Wait, I'll just mute that. After you've rendered each and every stem, now you can see that whatever stems you have created, it is based on your own selection. So you have the total control over what sounds get consolidated. So this helps a lot in the mixing stage, as now you can remove and edit stuff like I'm doing here. Because you see there were two basses here, right? Over here, there was this bass and then there was another bass on top of that. So these kind of corrections you can do at this stage. Yeah. So I guess that sums this entire video as far as stemming is concerned. I really wanted to show you guys like how I render each and every stem, but that would probably take a lot of time, you know. So I guess we will stop here. And if you guys have any like suggestions or anything for tutorials, then do let me know, and I will make sure to make a video on that. And if you feel like I have helped you, then consider hitting the like and the subscribe button. Until next time, and